Kohalo Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone Ruel. I am not a member. However, I have entered into their labors. Peace and mercy to the sincere brothers and sisters doing this wherever you are, whatever your lot may be. This is a relatively long one, about 5 minutes. So we're gonna let at least get the gist of it and get a couple precepts. But this will be just a warning. We got the what's prophesied as the famine of the word to come. Hold on, let me.
It's pretty remarkable.
There we go. All right, so let me. Let's open up with Amos. We're gonna open up with Amos 8 and 11. All right, since I just mentioned it, and then we'll let it play. Make a couple points, and then that'll be it. This is just a during the week a quick warning. What did I say? Amos 8 and 11. 8 and 11, straight to the point. Behold, in the days come, saith Yahweh power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord. And then, to 2/3 of our people, and to those who don't believe, and to those who, have no understanding, you would think that that's not such a big deal. But he who holds information, I forget how the saying but basically, if you have information, especially answers, right? Intel, info, answers, whatever people are seeking, and you have it, and you can make sense of what's going on, that man is powerful. That man is valuable. Even one might say more valuable than the gold of Ophir, as it is written in the scriptures, right? A man of the Lord. So, of course, this may not seem like something that's, a big deal. Oh, so what? We can't talk about, the Bible and so-called Jesus, We can't talk about, or as they would say, you can't talk about your sky daddy anymore. But at this point in time, or as this is happening, things are going to slowly but surely descend into a chaotic nature, or a state of chaos. And there's nothing more scary than not knowing what's going on. You have fear. You have the fear of what you see, but the fear of the unknown, the fear of the unseen, the fear of not knowing. I don't think many people truly understand what that's like. So, in due time, the terror of the Lord is going to fall on these people, on a lot of people. And as you can see, the usual, the usual here. All right, they work with big tech to censor conservatives and free speech. All right, so at first it starts with, the conservatives or the super right for their anti-SEMETICs, all right, but which is not even a real word, but okay, anyway. But then it'll trickle on down to who they're really looking at. Because I remember maybe early 2024, there was some summit, and these people were here and were saying their biggest enemies were the black youth. And, the black youth doesn't have any artillery capable of taking down any attack choppers or shooting down drones. We don't have any type of early warning detection systems. We don't have surface to air missiles. We don't have submarines. We have nothing. So it makes you wonder why they would say such a thing. Okay, so let's go ahead and let this play, and we'll pause it here and there. But I don't. It's not going to be the full 5 minutes. We're just going to get enough to drive the point home.
So did you see this from the Gray Zone about this?
No.
This story. Okay, so this is really important because the Gray Zone has exposed a few of my friends. Let's just say were targeted by the Center for Countering Digital.
Oh, before I before I let him continue, look for that to become another buzzword, right, or to become another narrative controlled or talking point, which is digital hate.
Hate. Okay, so this is a censorship directive that was uncovered. And the Center for Countering Digital Hate is the people might famously know them during the OK Groomer phase of Twitter, which was kind of cringe, but they essentially put a list out of accounts that were, anti-LGBTQ, and they got a bunch of people censored, deleted off of Instagram and stuff. Also, them and the ADL were behind getting a bunch of people banned, like Paul Joseph Watson, etc., for arbitrary reasons, not because they did anything bad, but because of who they were off platform. So the Center for Countering Digital Hate is led by, I think, a Muslim guy, I'm pretty sure, in the UK, and they've been extremely influential in the United Kingdom and the United States in getting right-wing and nationalist people shut down. Well, I mean, obviously, it's not fun thinking about the UK, being involved online with shutting people down, but, there's a bit of a connection there, right? The UK and the United States share intelligence. We're the Five Eyes.
And if you remember, also late last year, there were people knocking on, or the authorities were knocking on the doors of the UK people for basically stating the truth. All right, they were talking about, criticizing their government, and folks were thrown in jail. I don't know if some of them were released or not, but I know a couple were getting they were getting up to 2 years. Some were maybe 10. I don't know exactly. But, they were going door to door, showing them, hey, did you post this on X date, on, XYZ date at this time? All right, you are under arrest. Put your hands behind your back.
And, most of our tech companies have offices there. It's definitely a strategic partner and trade partner. Well, it turns out that leaked emails exposed collaborative efforts between Israeli government and the Center for Countering Digital Hate. Emails obtained by the Gray Zone reveal how leading anti-hate campaigner Imran Ahmed collaborated with Israeli embassy officials to censor pro-Palestine social media accounts and courted them for donations to a censorship-obsessed center. Since emerging in America, from seemingly out of the blue in 2020, the Center for Countering Digital Hate has become a transatlantic establishment most effective tools for censoring online speech. So he's moved to DC. Oh, I didn't know he's there now. Oh, he's back in London. Okay. But I guess he's a London citizen, but he's operating in the US now. So it's like, this is like people might not know about this. The ADL gets too much credit. The Center for Countering Digital Hate does a lot of bad to censor, ideas. Well, it turns out that the Israeli government is directly petitioning them to ban critics, and they're going to the tech companies and they're obliging. Yep. So people go, why are you talking about Israel? It's like, and they did it to some of my friends. In this, it uncovers a couple of my friends got their lives ruined. One person ended up having health issues over this as well. I'm not going to get too into details.
Right. And I did one episode, I guess you can call it an episode. I did one episode on a book called Against Our Better Judgment. It's a really, really good read, and it highlights the tactics of this individual state, right? This nation of people here. It highlights how they infiltrate governments and how they petition folks and how they turn up in overwhelming numbers to, get things swayed in their, to their favor. All right. And, first they throw money at you, and then comes the force, the threats, and defamation, and maybe even the destruction of your business if you own one. All right. It's which is why they want to shut it down. They operate in secrecy. Okay. As long as you can't say anything bad about them, they think that, their deeds go undone or unseen and unchecked.
So don't out who they are, but over what they did to their life. And it's like the Israeli government is ruining my friends' lives. Not on top of just like the idea of killing innocent people. People could say, well, I don't care about what's going on in another country. The censorship in our country is being spearheaded by the Israeli government. And no one will talk about this.
Seriously,
Right. A foreign entity has sway over a so-called sovereign nation.
annoying as all the wokeists are for trying to censor people for saying not politically correct things, having a foreign national government intervening in the United States with American companies to silence American citizens is absolutely outrageous. And that ought to cost, just that alone, never even mind the slaughter of 100,000 innocent people over there over the last year and a few months. Just their war against our First Amendment and our sacred right of free speech ought to be the end of any goodwill that Americans have for this terrible little country. I mean, somebody name something Israel has ever done for the United States of America. People say, oh, well, they helped Obama arm Al Qaeda in Syria, but that was Obama helping them. That was because Bush had empowered the Shiites in Iraq. So Obama was helping make up for it by taking them down a peg in Damascus. That was Israel-centric policy, trying to break the Iran, Damascus, Hezbollah axis there. So what have they ever done for us? Someone on Twitter said, well, what about Egypt when they fought Egypt for us? But we could have been friends with Nasser if it wasn't for Israel. We'd have never had to push him toward the Soviet Union in the first place back then. And this is all in, there's a great book called Devil's Game by Robert Dreyfus, where he shows how we didn't have to be enemies with Egypt in the first place. Anyway, so then you say, good thing Israel was there to help limit Soviet influence when they were the whole reason that America had pushed Egypt into Soviet arms in the first place. And on and on. That's it. I can't think of a thing. You know, we did Iraq War I and Iraq War II very much.
Right. I guess it is good to let it play because he's kind of going in right now. But let's pause for a scripture, right? None of this was common knowledge before, right? And I mean, 10 years ago, barely a decade ago, none of this was common knowledge, right? But, thanks to the truth going out, these are residual things that happened, or I should say residual or a trickle-down effect, right? So you got the truth going out, and the men of the great millstone and their elders and those up under them, they have been preaching longer than most of us have been alive, over 4 decades now, or close to 4 decades, all right, calling this devil out, and it forced the people to look, and now, look at their tongues are falling upon themselves, right? Let's get Jeremiah 49:10 first. Straight to the point here. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places. He shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. All right. And then we have, their tongue shall fall upon themselves. Let me get that one. I believe that's in Isaiah. No, it's not. Let's see. Let's read the whole thing. I need to scroll through this or skim over this to make sure I'm getting the right one. Okay, Psalm of David, hear my voice, O power, my prayer, preserve my life from the fear of the enemy. And that's what we need to be praying, especially as he is, coming down even harder. Even, the squeeze is getting tighter and tighter each day. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongues like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, right? So they slander you and paint you with a broad brush, and they will label you with these so-called, ream is this, all right, but for simply telling the truth, right? They categorize you and put you in these categories and say, for i.e. C theorist, earist. All right, that's a label. Right winger is a label. That they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep. All right, but Yahweh shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves, and fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. All right, and as you can see, they try to do their dirt in the dark as they have been before, but as you can see here, just getting told on left and right. Oh, and then let's let him finish. Well, no, we'll end on one scripture, especially pertaining to these wars where we didn't have to be enemies with these other nations in the so-called Middle East. All right. Oh.
Under Israeli influence, especially Iraq War II. But they couldn't fight in either of those wars. We couldn't bring them with us to help in the war. That would have blown up the whole war. That would have made it 100 times more difficult because of how obvious it was that we were doing it to serve